What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode, or I guess I should say last week, because, Tsunami is tomorrow night, or actually tonight, because I'm recording this actually on, like, midnight, at least the opening of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to record the whole review tonight, or I'll have to wait until I finish it up during the morning, tomorrow, or today, on Saturday. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sorry so further, guys. Let me just say sorry that this review took so long to get out to you guys. I'm sorry. As I mentioned in my Hero Waka video, this week was finals, so I was really focusing on those to get those done, and studying as well as getting my math project done. So, which I'm not completely out of the woodwork with that. That thing's due on Monday, so I'll probably end up taking Saturday off, and you'll probably Sunday as well. So you guys probably won't see the review for JoJo. Probably won't be on Monday. You'll probably see the review for that one Tuesday. Not completely sure on that first, but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up on that. Sorry, but next week, next week we will be good, back to my normal schedule. I'll be on winter break by that point, so we good at that point, guys. So anyway, overall, I loved this episode, man. This episode is fucking amazing. I loved the dub. We're gonna talk about the dub in a second, because I gotta get some props to the guy who voices fuck, I already forgot to do his name. God damn it. I did like his stand's name, Moody Jazz. I love that stand name, Moody Jazz. Now, I'm not sure if that was the stand's original name in the manga as well as in the sub, or that was, that was kind of like the localized name. Either way, I really dig that name, Moody Jazz. It's such an Iraqi name, honestly. Tell me down below if that does another. It probably is a music reference, knowing Iraqi. But anyway, so without further ado, guys, let's just jump right in. So we start this episode off with Abbacchio's backstory. The dude had an unwavering sense of justice, which he's had that for a while, which led him after high school to becoming a police officer. But of course, the job of being a cop is never easy. Even in a place like Italy, which it's just, cops are treated just like here in the States. Like shit. But at least they don't have a problem with police brutality and shooting young black kids. Alright, I'm done with the race jokes. Those are my edgy jokes for the week. So, which is no surprise, this match takes place like Italy, because, the mob and everything. Mobsters pretty much own the joint. This is like what? Then part 4, or part 5, excuse me, takes place in the 90s, I believe. If I remember correctly. I believe it was the 90s. Or was it the 2000s? It might have been the 90s, a little bit after part 4. I'm not sure. I forget the exact time frame, but I know part 4 took place in the 90s. Anyway. So Abbacchio, he became a cop, and then, but of course that led to some problems, because of course, he thinks there's like a bunch of contradictions. He thought, like, the people that, Abbacchio should be protecting the people, the populace, our average citizens are the people that are making the trouble. It ain't just the Italian mob and gangsters. It's just the average people who and all these fucking hoodlums out there that just want to make cops' job the living hell. Like, we saw two guys threw rocks at Abbacchio's cop car, chased after them. Then he heard some woman getting mugged by two guys on one of those scooter things. Yes, those are scooter things that are very popular in Europe for some reason. And then he goes over checking on her and be like, "Oh, are you okay?" And then I'm assuming her husband is like, "Oh, what? Oh, damn it! Oh, what the hell was that?" And he just starts berating him. The narrator mentions, I probably mentioned this before in other reviews, but I love the narrator's voice English job. I love that man's voice. Anyway, so he mentioned that he would get constant verbal humiliation. It was definitely a thankless job, which is very true. And that, that really, being a cop isn't all that cracked up to be, because you think you're doing a good thing when you're really not, and the people fucking despise you, And, but Abbacchio still did a decent job as a cop. He would arrest gangsters a lot. But because we are in a place like Italy, where the mob pretty much runs the joint, it's like Gotham City over here, man. That a lot of the time they would often just post bail and walk, which as of course know, pretty much makes the arrest pointless. So they just showed us some newspapers around here of Abbacchio getting some arrests. But then we lived to this one moment where it looked like he was about to, stop a dude getting it on with a prostitute. And he's like, oh, come on, man. You're not going to arrest a woman trying to get out of debt, right? Her dad's stuck in debt, man. Come on. Why don't you just walk away? And he's like tapping his hand. He has some cash in his hand. He's like tapping Abbacchio's hand. He's trying to bribe him. And Abbacchio and I love the angles here that they use right here. Like this angle Abbacchio had with the colors and everything. When he's just kind of looking at the cash, he's like, if I arrest these punks, they'll just post bail and leave. So what the fuck's even the point of arresting them? And so then he just takes the money and walks. But in a cruel twist of fate, ladies and gentlemen, they meet again. Because right after this, he gets like a little call from dispatch about a robbery that was reported. They go over there to check out the crime scene, and the shopkeeper has brains blown out, and the guy that's trying to escape, who most likely shot him, who was carrying a revolver in the back, on the back of his jeans, is the same guy that Abbacchio took that bribe from. So, and Abbacchio's like, and at first Abbacchio puts his guns up. He has with his flashlight, tell him to put your hands up. You're getting arrested. The dude's trying to talk his way out of this. Abbacchio and how he's gonna arrest his bitch ass. But then the dude reminds him, why don't we let's not be too hasty right now, guys. If you were to arrest me now, what reason would I have to say quiet about the bribe? He's trying to blackmail him now. So Abbacchio then he's like, come on, why don't you put that gun down? Abbacchio puts the gun down for a moment. The dude goes for his gun. Then his partner comes in there and like in some Max Payne type bullet time around here. Or whatever it was called, the Max Payne gates. The dude jumps right in front of Abbacchio, pushes him out and says, Abbacchio, get down, he has a gun. And they both fire off their weapons. Like this is some fucking, old Western standoff going out here, Because all you're missing is the fucking tumbleweeds. But they both fire off their guns. Abbacchio's partner dies, I'm assuming probably just after the first shot, while the other guy is bleeding. He's like, oh, you bastard, you could have killed me. Or I think he said you killed me. I couldn't really hear exactly what he said, but it was along those lines. And I gotta give massive props to the dub right here, because we see the shot of Abbacchio's partner's hat, I'm assuming with some blood on top of it. And the scream this dude let out from Abbacchio's thing was dub vector. I don't know who's voicing him off the top of my head, but the guy did an amazing job right here. The man deserves huge props for that. Like, that man did an amazing job right there. That scream really got all the emotions from creation. It was almost like, I would almost put it like, I wouldn't say it was as good, but I would say I put it close to those primal screams we would hear in Daredevil Season 3, if you guys have watched that show. Which, if you guys have not seen Daredevil Season 3, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get up off your ass and boot up Netflix and binge all three seasons of Daredevil. Trust me, it's great shit, man. I love it. I love Daredevil. Such a good show. I hate that it's canceled. Anyway, after that, we head over back to present day with Abbacchio, Giorno, and Bruno. Giorno goes over there to tells Abbacchio then solve the mystery and everything. So Giorno goes over there, he gets caught, and he says, Abbacchio, I almost forgot his name for a second. Abbacchio says, you're on Fule Capiotto, I believe is what he said. I also don't know what the hell that means, but hey, more Italian. I do like that they throw in Italian, but could y'all throw in some fucking subtitles right here? So I know what the hell they're saying? I was like Fule Kyopa, I believe. Yeah, Fule Kyopa or something along those lines. Like, seriously, give me some subtitles so I know what the hell they're saying. But anyway, so after Giorno gets captured, Abbacchio says those juvenile theatrics could have gotten you killed, and they're trying to figure out a way to get the murder. And then Bruno finds that the fly is still there. And he's still moving around. So Giorno's powers are still active, which means he's still alive. So then Bruno unleashes Zipperman! Which, I forget what his real name is, but Viz, Crunchyroll, whoever comes up with these new localized names, y'all couldn't come up with anything better than Zipperman? That name sounds so dumb! Zipperman! Like, come on. At least Abbacchio Stan's name sounds cool and he looks cool. I like Bruno Stan, but my god, that name... Y'all seriously couldn't come up with a better name than Zipperman? I mean, yeah, it makes sense. The man's Stan's ability is to make zippers, and he looks like a man, so call him Zipperman. But come on, that sounds so corny. But anyway, whatever. I mean, I'm sure the name's gonna eventually grow on me, and of course, the JoJo community has already made huge memes about Zipperman, so I'm gonna have fun and meme it too. But like, come on, y'all couldn't come up with something better. But anyway. So anyway, Bruno uses Zipperman, looks around trying to see if he can find the guys. They're nowhere to see, they're just a bed there. And then the fly comes closer to them. Abbacchio says, okay, I think we're starting to figure out how we get this, but we need to get out of the spot. So they both fall into the zipper, they both fall into the hole that was formed by the zipper, and they're back on the lower level. So then we see Abbacchio stand, Moody Jazz, which I love that name. And I love his Stan's ability and his Stan's look. I love the look of it. He says, Moody Jazz, let's jam. I love it. And I like what they showed right here where we saw his body, then it was kind of like repeated for a few times before we saw Moody Jazz, which I love that Stan name. Moody Jazz. And that's like probably one of the only actual musical names we've got in the actual dub of JoJo. Because, Araki's no stranger to musical references in the manga as well as the anime. But if you guys watch subbed, or you watch like illegal scans, or you watch some of those like fan scans of it, they would keep all the music ref. But of course, on the localized version, they used all the localized names. So instead of like Steely Dan, you got Dan of Steel. Of course, instead of Reverb, there was Echoes, probably some other ones, of course, and of course, Gold Experience versus Golden Wind. Yada 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 yada. You guys get the point. But finally we got one in the dub, Moody Jazz. I just love that name. Moody Jazz. It just sounds cool. But anyway, so, and I gotta say, I love his stand ability. The man pretty much, what his stand can do is that he can take a person that he can record his stand can it's like a shapeshifter almost, where he can take the appearance of a person that he records and see everything that they did from their heart rate to their perspiration for the last 5 minutes before he uses it. So for the last 5 minutes, he can pretty much see what the hell you were doing, which is a really cool ability. I don't know if it would be considered overpowered. I mean, I guess it could be, but not really, because we don't think, because it doesn't look like it's an attack type stand or anything. But whatever the case may be, it looks cool, and I really think its ability. So, the stand Moody Jazz takes over the appearance of La Rancha, which actually, you guys might remember. I mentioned if Part 5, if Golden Wind was used as was done by Funimation, that La Rancha would be voiced by Justin Briner. Well, apparently I wasn't too off with that, because I looked up the cast for the sub anyway for Part 5, and the guy that voices La Rancha in the Japanese is the same guy that voices Izuku from Hero Walking, which I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, so he turns into La Rancha. We see what he did for the last 5 minutes. Started off when he was jamming out to his music, and then there's record, and then his stereo broke down because of what's his name spilled some soda on it, or was it sparkling water? I think it was sparkling water he used. And so then and Bro's like, nah, it happened after this. So then Abbacchio fast forwards it a bit until he gets up top of them where Bruno's like, with capital like that, we will get the rank of capo. And he's like, oh hell yeah, and all that. He's like, all right, now it should be able to tell us what exactly happened. That's when Abbacchio tells him that we can track everything from his perspiration to his heart rate. So then we see this hole kind of like pop out of him like a balloon, and then air starts leaving. He just starts deflating like a legit actual balloon, and we slowly see him kind of get just deflating more and more and more and more and more. And it was weird seeing you see his eyes started to pop out a little bit. It was freaky to watch, just see him deflate and everything. And one thing I also gotta say, it's weird because and this is when the episode went to commercial break, which is weird because Toonami usually always cut when Toonami used for JoJo and when they go to commercial break, they usually cut out that last maybe second or 2 seconds they have where the car transition, where you see the colors kind of change and it shows up the title of the show, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Gold 1. They usually always cut it right before that happens. Sometimes we'll see bits of it, but never will we actually see the full thing. So it was weird to actually see it here. So I don't know. I mean, I like seeing. I wish they would also put in the stand title cards that they always show, right before the show returns. They always show a person, then their stand, and then their stats. I wish Toonami would keep those in, but they cut those too, and it's not a huge deal breaker. But I would like to see them keep those in. But Hey, whatever. When I'm going to be watching part 6 with the English, when it's watching part 6 sub, it's not going to matter. But anyway, after that, we then Abbacchio pauses it, and then Bruno checks to see if he has a pulse or anything, and just to feel Laurancia. And he mentions that Laurancia feels very rubbery, like a balloon, but he still has a pulse. So the man is still alive and breathing. So then, after we get back to commercials, we then see Laurancia go inside the actual little pipe there, and that's when he pauses it. That's when he checks him, and that's when he finds out. It's like, oh, he's very rubbery. He mentioned instead of a balloon, he mentioned it was a condom, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, so he goes all the way in. Bruno, and we see the flies coming towards him. Bruno's like, dude, you can't defend when your stand is in replay mode, so get out of there. Get out of there. Bring back your stand so that he can defend himself. But he's like, no, I gotta see where this is going. So he goes in there, and I like this little thing where we see the camera just going into this pipe, and you see Abbacchio's eyes. He's like, I can see my sand wherever it goes. So he just keeps looking around, trying to figure out where it is. He's like, okay, where are you? From there, they keep looking around, moving around from different locations, and that's when he finds out where Abbacchio is, or where that they're hiding. It's in the pipes. So then Bruno unleashes Zipperman on the pipes, and he opens up one of the pipes. He sees it, but there's nothing there. And then he's like, what the hell? And then he says, and Abbacchio, and Bruno tells him to call back his stand again. Abbacchio then says, no, I already did. But then we see his stand, and he's just kind of feeling out the surface, and then he punches the pipe. He's like, you hear that hollow thud? He's in the pipes, but Bruno can't see it. And we're still kind of wondering, where exactly is he in the pipes? Because he says, dude, I'm not bullshitting you, he is in the pipes, you just can't see it, So eventually, Abbacchio realizes what's happened, and we see some flashbacks of the Lagoon 2, which is the boat they picked out to get out of there, the boat that they're renting. So he's like, all right, I figured out this mystery, and I've opened it wide, and I've opened it wide open. So, but then by that point, then we see a sand kind of start punching something, and right after that we see the flag go away, and that's when Abbacchio gets transported, and that's when Abbacchio starts to deflate, and he's taken with him. But while he's getting dragged away, Bruno's like, grab onto me, and Abbacchio in a last ditch slaps Bruno in the face with one of his hands that's covered in blood, leaving a trail of blood But the blood stops right below the deck, right before the little opening where they get inside the deck. So that's when Bruno probably starts to figure out what's going on. And a little drop of that blood falls off of his cheek onto the floor. And that's when he starts to put things one, two together. He's like, "Caraccia," or not. I forget exactly what he said, but he just starts cursing Italian. He's like, "Where did you keep Abbacchio?" And then he just goes crazy with Zipperman, unleashing zippers and other zippers. So many goddamn zippers. Take a shot every time I said zipper. So he opens up, and then there's just this big hole inside the deck. He's like, "Damn it! Where did you put my familia?" And then the fly starts talking, and they kind of have a discussion. He's like, "Now your friends are alive, but only because I allow it. If just tell them what they are, otherwise they'll be sleeping with the fish." Which I'm like, man, I haven't heard someone say sleeping with the fishes in ages, man. That's so old of a saying. But we then get to probably the funniest part of the episode, unintentionally funny. The dude starts to circle. The dude's like, "Oh, you don't get it, do you?" After he's like, wondering where what's going on here? What's going on with that? Trying to figure out what's going on here. With the fly and everything. He then says, "I'll kill you, Cazione!" The dude then from here just starts ranting. I'm talking what happened a few weeks ago on Fire Force on Tsunami with Giovanni. Was he's like, "I have knocked you." He's like, "I have knocked and talked this last and bastard on this wall and broken this wall with bleeding hands. You claim to know nothing? Damn you, Vulcan! As gullible as you were, you guys know where to hide that key, and that's why this time your family's filled with rotten apples. You are as gullible as you are brilliant. You disgust me." It's like, "I'll kill you, Giovanni." That whole scene in Fire Force, that was some hype shit. But I was just laughing on it. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I posted a clip of it. and you guys could hear me laughing only because I was just laughing at just the sheer absurdity of it, how quick it happened. Like, one moment Giovanni is calm, cool, and collected. The next one, the man's ranting up a storm. The same thing happens here. He's like, "I'll kill you, Cassone! I just want to know where that." And then you shut it. He's like, "I just want to know the location of that money. If you try to share me, your friends are going to die. If you say, well, just say what happens. If I can't even remember all these stuff. He was like, if you like lie, if you say nothing, your friends die. If you don't tell me what I want to know, your friends are off. And he's like, if I find out you're lying, I'll kill them. The man just starts ranting like crazy, and doing this whole thing. The fly is just circling around Bruno, while this man is just ranting up a storm. It was awesome. Like you said, so I'll slap you across your face and see what happens. If you still want to just grow without permission, one of your pals is getting off. Say nothing, I'll kill them. If I find out you lied, they die. And I gotta give huge props to the voice actor that voices this guy. His man deserves a raise. And after this, he's like, the man starts panting like he just ran a fucking marathon. And Bruno's just sitting there being like, oh, okay. And he's just like, so, where the hell is the money? And he says, those are black seagulls. He's like, I think they said what they call black gullbirds. I think it was called. They're not seagulls. They're black seagulls. I forget. So he just talked about the birds, and he knows this because that it sounds like they're meowing, and that's because a fly got the fly and called them seagulls earlier. And that's when he starts to put the plan in motion. And he says, no, that's it, I'll kill you! And he's like, just try if hell doesn't bring you down first. And by this point, we saw a couple shots of some water entering the boat. And by this point, the water just kind of comes right into the boat, and the boat, starts sinking. So the boat is sinking at this point. Bruno is just like, alright man, I already know your secret, just come out already if you don't want to drown. So what we find out is how this all happened is that with his ability, there were actually two boats that were connected to each other right here. But and that's how he was able to, that's why they could see him, because there were two separate boats connected to each other, and then they split off. Then Bruno goes back onto the Legal 2, I believe it was, the one they used, and that's when the Duke comes out. Now the Duke's design, it was the same guy we saw like last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago before, of course, last week we had, or the week before last, Tsunami had a little Food Wars marathon. But anyway, on the last episode, we saw this guy with green hair, talking about what happened with the capo. For some reason, I'm blanking on the dude's name. I'm shit with names. But which, correct me if I'm wrong, this guy actually might be into becoming a bit of a reoccurring villain, because I could have sworn he is on the receiving end of the 7-page Muda, which we'll see later on in the series. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he's going to become a recurring villain. So anyway, he tries one last ditch effort to get the upper hand against Bruno, where he puts his hand sword against Abbacchio's neck. So then Bruno tells him, if you try anything, I'm going to kill you. If you don't, I'll show mercy. So he goes for it. Bruno then cuts off, uses Zipperman to take off one of his fists, punches it right in the face, which ends up decapitating him, if you want to call it that. And that's pretty much the episode ends, with Abbacchio reinflating. So, yeah. This episode was awesome, funny, good stuff. I love the suspense. It wasn't as suspenseful as a lot of other episodes in JoJo, like the stuff with Kira, but it was still some good shit. So anyway, I'm going to give this episode a 9.5 out of 10, guys. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram to reflect at least in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. And also, again, apologies for this review taking so long.
Body.